Hi, I'm Jess, I'm 29 and I am a part-time model, but full-time I am a workplace manager. And welcome to Unique Purpose.
How long have you been doing modeling for?
So I've been modeling for about 5 years now, and I started off doing fit modeling. So I was working full-time, was doing these odd jobs that were just for like a catalogue or wholesale website. And then it kind of spiraled from there into more like fashion jobs, bridal, brands, and then it stemmed on to music videos, and then it's now stemmed on into other things such as like presenting and yeah.
What inspired you to do that?
Well, like I've always had a full-time job. Like I've always had like a 9 to 5. I think, yeah, one of my friends was like, oh, like she does a fit modeling gig with this company. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Like the money's decent. So, and then I just found that I really enjoyed it, and I was a natural, well, yeah, if I do say so myself, like a natural in front of the camera. Like I love interacting with people, and it didn't feel like work, you know. And then from there, I was like, oh, you know, I want to do more of this, and I'm getting paid at the same time. So then I started looking for more jobs. I don't know if you've heard of a website called Star Now. I'm not trying to promote them, so you can cut this out if you need to. But that's kind of where I started, and there was odd jobs on there, and then I just kind of built my experience up from there, and yeah, that's kind of where it started.
So as an upcoming model, do you have to have interest and passion with fashion?
Not really, you know. I feel like nowadays it's much easier to become a model. Obviously there's different levels, but like I feel like you just need to be confident. You need to be confident in front of the camera. Like obviously if someone is booking you for a job, like they don't want someone who's coming across nervous. You really need to fit into that role, especially if it's, you know, I did a bridal shoot and it was me and the model getting married, so you had to really fit into that role and just kind of relax and be yourself. Like just know that they've chose you because they like you, you fit the brief, and you need to just, you know, be your best self. And yeah, I think just relax and fully put yourself into it. So yeah.
Do you happen to compare yourself with other people? Because obviously modeling is not an easy job, you know.
So I wouldn't say I compare myself with other people. I'd say in this industry you really need to have a strong mind and know that if you're putting yourself forward for a job, you might not get chosen, but it's not because, you know, you're not pretty enough or, you know, not slim enough or whatever it is. It's just because the artist or the person that is, you know, creating this, whatever it is, a music video or, you know, fashion shoot, they have a brief to fit. So that's what you have to keep in mind, because, you know, a lot of girls can really get, you know, a bit offended by that, and you can't, because it's unhealthy. You just have to know that they're looking for a certain type of look for this certain type of campaign, you know. So
what's the most challenging thing that you find in this industry, you personally?
Most challenging thing in the industry, I would say, the thing is, for me, like I love it. Like I don't view it as work, so I really enjoy it, and I feel like you just have to get within the right agencies, because I have been with a couple of agencies that both times they've placed me on some bad shoots. And as I said, like a lot of people can, in this social media age, can become what they want. So they can start an agency, but it doesn't mean they're professional. So I feel like you really need to vet before like signing up to certain jobs, because, you know, there could be a music video and it's just in the street with a load of guys, you know, at night, and you need to be safe. And I have heard a lot of stories about women that have been put in situations where, you know, they're in danger. So I feel like you have to really, you know, make sure you know what you're going into, ask questions. You know, if something doesn't feel right, don't go. Even for me, like I won't just go because it's paid. I will, you know, actually look into it and be like, you know, is this safe? Does this feel right? Is this also a good reflection of me? Like I wouldn't want to take anything that is going to damage my brand name just because I'm making money from it. I will wisely choose a job based on, you know, whether it is a reflection of me as a person, and if it's of a high standard, you know, because that can really tarnish your name.
Have you ever been in that situation where it's like it's a weird environment and all that stuff?
Yes, so I was on a shoot, and it was in a studio, but the guy had brought all his friends and they'd been drinking, and they were trying to tell me what me and the other model should do, you know, touch the guy more, trying to dance behind us, and just, yeah, like wasn't professional at all. So yeah, that was a really bad one. And that's the thing sometimes, like you can kind of, especially with the music industry, get into these type of situations. But as I said, like if you're with the right agency and you know that they're consistent with providing good jobs, stick with those ones. So yeah.
I feel like you have to maintain yourself in terms of looks, weight, skincare and all that stuff to be able to do what you do?
Do you know what, me personally, I wouldn't say that. I think because I'm quite confident in myself, I don't try and aspire to be like someone else, you know, even with the whole social media thing. I don't really use the explore page because I feel like that is kind of like the enemy of progress. Like you're there, you see all these, you know, filtered posts and, you know, highlights of people's lives. So I've always liked to keep in shape, and I've done that for me. So, yeah, I wouldn't really say that I restrict myself from eating certain things or, you know, having fun and living life. I would just say, yeah, my lifestyle has always been to kind of look my best because it makes me feel my best. And then when I come on set, you know, I feel confident, you know. So, and I think also you have a duty to yourself to show up and be presentable. So if you're turning up to a shoot and your nails are chipped and stuff, like that's on you, you know, like you don't want to come across that way. So you've got to hold yourself to the highest standard. So I'd say more than anything, like I'm maintaining it for me, not because I feel like I need to look a certain way for, you know, a job or a brief, but I feel like the type of modelling that I do, obviously I'm not in high fashion, so it's you know, people can pretty much come any shape, any size. I think you just got to own you and be confident in you, and when you're radiating that light, like people bounce off that, and yeah, like people remember you, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm going to think of her for another job. So I think just kind of like being yourself really is important.
You mentioned to me that you're a presenter. How's that going?
Well, I say presenter. I believe in speaking things into, I guess, existence, but also kind of like, I don't have too much experience presenting. I just kind of threw myself into that. So there was this job that came up and I just applied for it to present for an event. And I didn't have too much presenting experience, but I knew that I could do it. You know, I'm on set with different people all the time. I'm used to kind of just being thrown into like unexpected situations and just naturally like fine with just talking to people. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to apply for it, and they gave me the job and it just came so natural to me. So yeah, I would just say I'm aspiring to add presenting to my skills, and calling myself a presenter is going to allow me to apply for more jobs. So if I'm believing in myself, then the person that is going to give me the job is going to believe in me too, because I'm like, okay, I'm a presenter. Even if, you know, I don't have as much experience as someone else, I know that I can do it. So I think you just have to be going confident, and, you know, to be honest, like talking to people is an everyday thing, you know, so just don't think of it as like, don't put too much pressure on yourself, you know, like naturally, if you're good at that, then it hopefully should come out fine. So yeah, I'm trying to get more presenting jobs, but yeah, I'm trying to add that to my skill set.
What have you done so far?
So I have, to be honest, that was my first presenting job. So the job that I took was actually my first job. So I was hosting an event and doing interviews for people that were attending the event. So I was asking them questions like, what's the wildest thing you've done? Because the event was called Wild London. So yeah, that was my first job, but no one, I guess, would have known it because I just kind of owned it. So, and then the next job that I applied for, I can show that footage, and I'm not going to tell them, oh, you know, well, now they're going to know if they watch this, but like, I'm not going to tell them, oh, I'm inexperienced or whatever, because really, like, I'm in similar situations, you know, I'm in similar environments, similar creative environments. So don't hold yourself back by thinking, oh, I haven't done too many jobs. Like, if you feel comfortable doing it, like, you just have to throw yourself in at the deep end, basically.
Are you trying to be full-time into modelling, by the way, or in presenting as well?
Yeah, so I'd love to be full-time modeling. I feel like with modeling comes, it kind of spans onto different jobs. So, you know, you might end up, you know, I've done a little bit of acting, you know, you kind of do a bit of brand promotion. So it kind of spans on to different things. But I just find at the moment modeling is not consistent enough, especially when like I live on my own. I'm not at that stage, I'd say, where it's consistent enough to be paying the bills. So that's why I work full time and I do it on the side as well. But yeah, one day I would love to.
How do you find balancing the both full time and this?
Balancing modelling a full-time job is, I don't know how I've managed to do it, to be honest, but I've just got used to, I guess, that kind of lifestyle. I'm always used to like being on the go and being busy. So for me, if I'm not working on myself and progressing, like it gets me down. So for me to be, you know, in my professional life and, well, I guess modelling is also my professional, but creative life, doing well, that's fulfills me. So that's what keeps me going. And yeah, I just kind of fit around my schedule. So, you know, I'll have my day job, but then in the evening, if there's a shoot, then I'll take it. Weekends, if there's a shoot, I'll take it. And I'll try and prioritize that over, you know, sometimes going out and having fun, because, you know, you need to find a balance. But yeah, you can't let, you know, just having fun get in the way sometimes, because if you want to get somewhere, you've got to keep going with it. So I would say, yeah, just kind of fitting it around what you've got going on. And one tip I'd say is don't ever turn work down, because you really don't know what that's going to lead to. You don't know who you're going to meet. And it's just not a good look. Like, you know, if you keep turning these jobs down, then they're not going to want to book you. And I'd also say, for me, like, I'm very much a woman of my word. So if I say that I'm going to do something, like a job, you know, even if I don't feel like I'm tired, I will still always turn up for that job, because you only have your word and people are going to remember you for that. So if you cancel that time, it's unlikely that, you know, you're going to get booked again, or, you know, the word is going to go around that you're unreliable. So I would say, yeah, stick to what you agree to.
To be fair, I admire your grind, because you may be, you know, full-time work during the day, and then on Instagram I see you like late at night doing a shoot. Like, well, you have work tomorrow. Like,
that's the thing. But I think when you love what you do, like being out late and, you know, like, or you've got to get up for work in the morning, it doesn't feel like on set, it doesn't feel like you're working. Even if, like, I've done a shoot that started at like 8 and finished at like 10, 11 in the nighttime. And obviously it's a long day, but when you're enjoying it, it doesn't feel like work. And I think there's a saying that says, like, you know, you're not tired, you're just kind of, is it like uninspired, or you're putting time into the wrong thing? Because when you're actually, you know, in a space where you're enjoying it, you're not feeling tired because you're passionate about it. So, yeah.
But I see you doing, you know, some music videos with some big names. What's your biggest achievement so far?
I feel like I've got a long way to go. So I feel like, you know, I've always kind of done UK artists and stuff. Biggest achievement, I think the Hardy Caprio shoot was amazing, because it was like, you know, I was the main girl, and I think I'd just joined the agency at this point. So that was like a big deal for me. And sometimes it's not even about like the status of the artist. It can just be how the day runs, you know, like you meet loads of, you know, other creatives, and you just have a good time. I'd say my next one after Hardy was, I did one with like Steph London, Unknown T, and Wes Nelson, and that was really amazing. But yeah, like when you're on set and you're talking to the artist, like everyone's down to earth, you know. It's not like, I don't view people as being, you know, I'm not above them, they're not above me. Like at the end of the day, they're human. So I think, and if you come with that attitude as well, like not starstruck, you know, not fazed by things, like people are going to take you more seriously, you know, because you're acting more professionally. So yeah, sometimes it's just about the setup of the day, you know, like we had like breakfast, we had lunch, we had drinks, and yeah, it was like, got some cool shots, and you know, everyone on set is kind of on the same level, like they want to create something, and yeah.
Has your family been supportive with this career?
Yeah, so yeah, my family has always been supportive with whatever I want to do. Like my mum is always like, whatever makes you happy. She always reposts my stuff on Facebook, even stuff from like 6 years ago. And even like my nan, like she's always said to me, like, I see you on the cover of Vogue magazine, like they're like, especially my nan, like her aspirations for me are higher than mine sometimes. But what I'd say is that I've always been very independent, used to doing stuff on my own. I moved out when I was 18 to live by myself, and moved out of my hometown, which was quite a small hometown, and went to London, and I've been there ever since, so about 8-9 years now. And yeah, I think no one can kind of push you to get where you need to be. Like that has to come from within. So I've always had that work ethic, even from being like a young girl. Like if I want something, like no one's going to stop me from getting it. So it doesn't matter if I have the support. You know, I wouldn't really say that I rely on that from friends or family. Like it's come from within. It's something that I want to do, and you know, that's when I feel my best, when I'm progressing and I'm reaching my full potential. And I actually think my biggest fear is not reaching my full potential. So I'm not gonna allow myself to slip. I have to keep going. So yeah, I would say like, don't worry about being supported, because you know, people will always come after and be like, you know, oh, you know, I supported you, I see what you're doing. And sometimes I get people that will message me and say, not even message me, but like I might see them in person. They're like, oh, I see you're doing this and this, but they'll never support you as you're posting it. So people actually see what you're doing, but don't rely on that.
Right.
Yeah, don't rely on that support. Like just focus on like doing that for yourself. Because yeah, like the other stuff around you is just going to fluctuate. So yeah.
I mean, we've seen your work in person, and it talks loud so far, and it seems like you have a strong mindset. What you're saying.
Yeah, I think that has to be the base. Like you have to have that strong mindset. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have a perception of yourself. Like you teach people how to treat you. So you have to be, you know, pulling up, showing yourself in a certain way, like setting those boundaries and teaching people how to teach you. And you set that standard as well. So, you know, think of yourself at that higher standard. Think of yourself as already there, already doing it. And like people will gravitate towards that, and, you know, jobs will come in, like people will want to buy into you because you are believing in yourself, you know, so you're investing in yourself. So, yeah, you always have to think of yourself, you know, at the highest level, basically.
So did you go to university, and how do you feel that contributed to what you're doing now?
Yes, I went to university. I studied fashion marketing. I actually, when I first left for uni, I went to Manchester Met, and I was doing international fashion marketing. But I didn't actually enjoy living in Manchester, and I was there for about 7 months, and I was just really unhappy. I just didn't feel like I fitted in there, and it took the decision for me to be like, do you know what, I'm just going to quit and I'm going to restart again. And one thing that I would say with that is, you know, my dad was quite disappointed in that, because he kind of, you know, not really helped me a little bit, but like, I think he was just, his mindset was very much like, you know, stick with it, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I'm not happy. And my mum's view is always like, if you're not happy, then you've got to just do what you've got to do to feel happy, you know. So I quit, I started again, and then I did fashion marketing in London Met, and that just felt much more right, you know, really enjoyed it, but it hasn't. When I come out of uni, I went into like reception PA work, so I did something completely different, because that's where the money was at. And at that time, like, there wasn't really money in fashion. Like, the salaries were starting off sometimes at like 14k, and I was living on my own, so there was no way that I could be doing that. So I just went into where the higher paid jobs were, and then it kind of rolled on. So yeah, I wouldn't say that my degree really has anything to do with what I'm doing now, but the question that you were going to ask me is kind of related to that. So did fashion marketing, wanted to basically start my own shoe business. So I had this idea to create a certain type of heel, and I actually did that for my dissertation. So I do feel like starting the shoe business kind of stemmed from that, because it kind of, I guess, directed me in that kind of direction. to create it. You know, I was in that kind of environment. I was learning stuff about fashion. So yeah, but so I had a shoe business, selling women's heels, and I actually had a full-time job there as well. And I ended up creating my website from the front desk that I was working at, was ordering my stock there. They had a studio, so I was really lucky. I did like a lot of my shots for the website in their studio. There was also another girl there that had a jewelry brand, so we did like a collab. And we all shot it on an iPhone, and it actually came out really well. And yeah, I just spent my free time while I was on the desk kind of building out that website and social media presence. But I found like a few years down the line, my heart wasn't really in it. I wasn't spending as much time on it. You know, the quality wasn't up to the standard that I wanted to, especially in terms of the shoes. And, you know, I want to put stuff out there that I would wear. And if it's kind of getting to that point that it's not upstanding and it's not something that I would wear, then, you know, I don't want to sell it. So yeah, I just found it was kind of sitting there. And then my modeling was taking off a bit more. So I was like, let me just stop this for now, because there's no point doing something if you're not putting 100% into it. So eventually down the line, you know, owning my own business, you know, would be amazing. And I like to just work for myself naturally. So I feel like down the line, it might be something I pick up again, or maybe something similar. But yeah, as like my modeling was taking off, and you know, that's what I was really enjoying, was kind of my focus. And I feel like sometimes you can't focus on too many things at once, because you're going to spread yourself too thin, you know, so you're not going to be fully putting 100% into everything that you're doing. So obviously having a full-time job and doing modeling at the moment is pretty much enough for me. And then I feel like once you've kind of built yourself up as a brand, that might be the right time to then start a business, because you've already got that engagement in your social media or wherever you're looking to put your business out there. So I think there's just a right time for everything. So, you know, don't stress too much about like, you know, you're not doing too many things. Like just do what feels right and kind of push that and then go on to the next thing.